Hello, everybody. It's me, Shannon Loverier. I am live and loving it tonight. I welcome you to Sunday Night Live, where we explore the principles that allow us to thrive and change. We can thrive in the change that we plan, that we expect, that we welcomed, and we can also thrive in the change that we didn't plan, that we didn't expect, and was unwelcome. Either way, I want you to have the principles you need to allow you to sink your roots deep in some really good soil so that when the season comes around that it's time for you to bear fruit, you are going to bloom and blossom. Welcome. Thank you for being here. Say hi in the comments if you would. Let us know who you are, where you're from. I'm excited to see who's tuning in. So, welcome. Let's see. We got a couple of likes. Oh, hi, Carol, and hi, Laura. It's good to have you here. Thank you. All right. So let me see. I want to make sure I can see. I can see pretty much what I need to see because as you can tell, I am not in my typical location. Today, I am coming to you live from New Orleans, Louisiana. And this was not part of my plan. Oh, hi, Mary. I'm glad you're here. Thanks for jumping on. Oh my gosh, Missy and Sean in New Orleans as well. Corey, I'm so glad to see you. Hi. This is amazing. Thank you for being here. And Tammy, oh my gosh, she's on her way home from New Hampshire. So somebody on the road. I love it, you guys. Thanks for being here. This is great. We're all just sort of in travel today, or at least many of us are. So I guess we've got something in common. All right. So today I'm going to talk about the Thrive Principle, hashtag respect the now. Oh, Margaret says, hi, Nola. And yes, New Orleans. How do you say it? New Orleans, Louisiana. I can't even do a Southern accent, but yeah, it's New Orleans. They said they have to draw it out, but it's beautiful here. But we're going to talk more about that in just a minute. Okay, so tonight our Thrive principle is hashtag respect the now. And if you want, you can also jot down hashtag find the beauty because it's a twofer, as is so often the case with principles. They very rarely just go solo, they like to go hand in hand. So tonight, hashtag respect the now and hashtag find the beauty. I want to thank Thumb Roast Coffee for sponsoring the Sunday Night Live and Thrive and Change podcast. Thank you so much for doing that. It is such an honor for me to be able to tell the viewers and the listeners how much I love Thumb Roast Coffee. Sanilac Sunrise is my current favorite. It's delicious. I will not be having that tomorrow, and it makes me sad. I don't want you to go through that same misery. If you want delicious coffee and you don't want to go without, you can go to the Thumb Roast website, thumbroastcoffee.com, and use the coupon code THRIVE, THRIVE, and you will be able to have delicious coffee in the morning, even though I can't. Hi. Oh, Kelly says we haven't done Find the Beauty in a while, and that is true. So yeah, it's good that we're doing it. All right. So tonight's topic, I'm going to title it "There is no such thing as Murphy's Law." How many of you have ever heard of Murphy's Law? It says this. It says whatever can go wrong will go wrong. That's Murphy's Law. And there's no such thing. So that's our first point tonight as we talk about this idea of dealing with unexpected change. I was going to say unwanted. That's not always true. I was going to say unwelcome. Not always true. Certainly unexpected change. So dealing with unexpected change, sometimes we chalk things up to Murphy's Law. And I'm here to tell you it is not true. So I'm going to tell you my story because I'm coming to you live from New Orleans because my traveling companion, my aunt and I missed our flight to go home to Detroit. We missed our flight. This has never happened to me before. I'm a pretty capable traveler, but we missed our flight. And so here's the story of what happened. We left Pensacola, Florida this morning. We were there for a wedding yesterday. It was beautiful. We left Pensacola, Florida this morning with plenty of time to get to New Orleans and to get on our flight. So here's the string of Murphy's Law events that transpired from the time we left to the time we got to the airport. First of all, Chick-fil-A, which I was looking forward to. I was getting a chicken breakfast biscuit and I was going to put honey on it and it was going to be amazing. Chick-fil-A closed on Sunday. So number one, huge disappointment because I really love my Chick-fil-A. Huge disappointment, Chick-fil-A's closed. But then we decided we would go to McDonald's and I missed the turn. So I had to go way out of my way to get back to McDonald's. Just a silly mistake. Then an hour later, imagine this, we had to go to a rest area and there was a sign, looked like a good one. There's some trees. It's going to be great. We pull off to go to this rest area and it turns out it's not like all the rest of the rest areas on the interstate. It's like a mile off of the beaten path. And there's a traffic light to get to it. And then there's another traffic light to get to it. And of course, there's 2 traffic lights to leave. You're starting to see where I'm going with this, right? And hi, Pam, I'm so glad you're here. So that rest area, just a lot longer than it should have taken, right? Then we finally make it into New Orleans and I couldn't find the car rental return. So I had to do a loop or an extra loop around the entire airport. Not great. Finally found the rental return, which was awesome. Yes, feeling great. Got almost into where you're going to pull into the rental return and realized I hadn't put gas in the car. I forgot gas. Doggone it. So I had to leave, go back out, go around the airport, and get gas. Had to come back in. It's a long process, people. Finally got back to the car rental return, pull into my spot in line. I'm ready to roll. We've got our suitcases out. We want to run through the airport to get to our terminal. There's systems down. Their computers aren't working. They can't scan us in. And the guy who was helping us was friendly as all get out, but folks, he wasn't fast. So he moseys and fills out paperwork and brings it back and wishes us a great trip home. And by now I'm starting to feel the Murphy's Law thing, like, oh my gosh, what else could go wrong? Well, it turns out there was more, because as we are running to catch the shuttle back to the airport so that we can get to our flight, they closed the doors just as we were arriving. It's full. We can't get on, and so we have to wait. And it's a big shuttle, and they wait for a really long time because they want to fill it. And the longer I was sitting there, the more nervous I was getting. Like, ooh, we're starting to run out of time. We make it to the terminal. Is this as brutal for you as it was for me? It was horrible. We go as fast as we can. We go to check our bag, and they tell us the flight's closed, and we don't have any more flights out today. And we don't know what to tell you. You'll have to rebook. Doggone it. All of a sudden, folks, unexpected change has just happened, because I was expecting to go home. I was expecting to see my husband because I miss him a lot. I was expecting to sleep in my bed. I've got a big day planned tomorrow. I've got work I have to do. I have clients I have to serve. I joined it's called a course creators incubator. Tomorrow is the launch. It lasts 6 months, and it's just a wonderful coaching training program that I'm involved in, that I'm going to learn and grow. Can't wait. It's going to start tomorrow, and I don't get to go home. Come on. It's like, what else could go wrong? Murphy's Law says, well, of course, because once things started going wrong, more things are going to go wrong, right? This is the thing. This is the thing, you guys. I started out with a false premise. And I just want to encourage you, when you think that everything in the world is going wrong and you want to blame it on everything else, I just encourage you to take a step back. Because if I go all the way back in my story to the very first statement I made, it's not true. I told you I left Pensacola with plenty of time to get to New Orleans. And obviously, I didn't. I mean, the facts are there, right? The facts are there. I didn't leave with enough time to get to the New Orleans airport. I didn't. It was me. I didn't leave enough time. I could end the story there, but there's a whole lot more. I'm sad to confess. And I wonder if you've ever found yourself in the same boat, right? So you've got the list of reasons why you didn't get the outcome you expected. You got the unexpected outcome instead. So I didn't leave him plenty of time, clearly. I needed at least another hour, and I didn't give it to myself. Why? Because I wanted to sleep in a little. I was getting up pretty early. I've been visiting with my family. I'm tired, of all legitimate reasons. Not saying they weren't valid reasons, but the bottom line is I didn't leave it in time. The second thing is this. Of course, Chick-fil-A is closed on Sunday. Anybody who loves Chick-fil-A knows they're closed on Sunday. So don't chalk that up to Murphy's Law. You know it's closed on Sunday, Shannon. It's not something going wrong. This is just a fact. They're not open on Sunday. And as for that turn to McDonald's, my second favorite drive-through breakfast, it wasn't McDonald's fault. I wasn't paying attention. I was talking on the phone to my sister. I should have been looking for McDonald's. So yeah, I missed the turn. I wasn't looking for McDonald's. So yeah, it added some time. That was on me. That whole rental car fiasco that took like an hour, and I was thinking it would take 10 minutes. I should have known it was going to take an hour. It took us an hour to get to our rental car before. Why was it going to take any less time to get back? Are you seeing where I'm going with this? It was me. And I just want you to understand, because it's so important for us, if we are going to be able to affect change and get outcomes that we do want, we have to understand that we are getting outcomes because of what we're doing. We have to own that. We can't blame it on Murphy's Law. We have to own that we have a role in the outcomes that are coming to pass in our life. Sometimes they're the outcomes that we didn't expect, but often if we had stepped back from our situation a little, maybe we would have expected it, right? I could have looked at the clock, done the math, and started getting a real good idea that, Shannon, you haven't left enough time. But I didn't do that. That's nobody's fault but mine. I can own it. And it means I can change it moving forward, right? But I had a role to play in my outcomes. But wait, there's more. Ooh, Kelly says sometimes admitting you make a mistake is hard. Isn't that the truth? It is hard sometimes. It gets easier, though. It gets easier with practice, and I've had plenty. It turns out it gets easier to admit you've made a mistake if you have to admit it a lot. Sad but true. I guess it's one of the upsides of having to apologize. You also get pretty good at it. I don't know. We are often the cause of our unexpected change. Not always, but we often are. And we're often more responsible for that unexpected change than we want to admit. I worked in consumer affairs years ago, and I was the manager. So when somebody was really mad, I was the one they talked to. And I talked to several people over the course of my time in that department that were furious mad because they lost their homes, which is really, really tragic. It is tragic. They lost their homes, and they would call me irate because they had lost their home because we hadn't delivered their payment on time. And technically speaking, that was why they lost their home. But reality said that they had missed many payments leading up to that point where they had to have the Postal Service execute flawlessly for their plan to come to fruition, for them to get their expected outcome. And then when something went wrong, they blamed us. And we had a part of that. But the bigger part of that was they had created their outcome through many actions leading up to it. And that's exactly what happened to me today. I made a series of poor choices that ended up costing me time. The things that I could control, I didn't control well. I didn't choose well, clearly, because I missed my flight. So when the unexpected thing happened, it was really tempting to blame their poor rental car process and the fact that it's off-site when it should be on-site. And I have a list of things I hate about the rental car return process at this airport. Nevertheless, I left them no room. I left no room for anybody to make a mistake. This is on us. When we are dealing with our unexpected changes, we have to understand that we are not the only factors at play, and that if we can do a good job on our end, we will have a much easier time of accommodating other people's mistakes. So hold on here. You lost me, I think. I'm back. I have no idea how long I was gone, but we'll pick up right here, you guys. If you couldn't hear me, we're going to pick up right here. Don't allow yourself to be fooled by Murphy's Law. It's not real. We create our outcomes based on our choices and our actions. And when we do that well, and we recognize that we're responsible for the outcomes we're inheriting, we're getting, then we are able to choose better as we move forward. But when we try to blame Murphy's Law, it was just a bad day. Oh, good. I'm glad you could hear me, Carol. When it was just a bad day, when we blame it on Murphy's Law, it's just things aren't going to go right. We take away an opportunity for us to get better at getting better outcomes. Okay. The second thing I want you to know is this, that I learned today, because I walked this path and I didn't do it flawlessly, but I learned from it. And I'm not going to say I did it terribly, because I rebounded, but I'm sharing with you my real walk today, something that I just learned, or I just was reminded of, and I hope it will help you. The second thing that I had to remind myself of today was this: comparison is the thief of joy. Comparison is the thief of joy. When we compare ourselves to others, that is a recipe for unhappiness, discontentment, sadness. When we dwell on our desired outcome, the one that we didn't get, and compare it to the unexpected outcome that we did get, we rob ourselves of the opportunity to find the beauty, because we're not looking at the now. If we don't respect the now, we cannot find the beauty in the now. Comparing our current situation that we are unhappy with the situation that we wish we had, if only we had done XYZ, that is a recipe for sadness. It is a recipe for sadness. It's the thief of joy. So as I was standing there beating myself up for not having left earlier, for missing the McDonald's, for taking the crazy rest area, for not listening to my traveling companion, my aunt, when she said, hey, could the rental car company just fill up your tank for you? I was like, oh, no way. I've got to go fill it up myself, because they'll charge me a lot of money. Turns out that a couple of adjusted plane tickets, a night in a hotel, and some meals on the road cost more, right? I can see you nodding your head, you guys. It costs more than if I had just had them top off the gas tank, but I'm not going to dwell on that. Next time I'll think of it. But now, dwelling on that, if only I had, what if I would have, oh, if only I could have, that robs us from the joy that's available now. All right, let's see what you have to say. So Kelly says, blaming the fact that it's Monday is a big one for me. Yes, Kelly, that is such a classic one that so many people do. Like, you know what? Hey, it's Monday. What are you going to expect? Well, start expecting good things to happen on Monday. That's my suggestion, right? Don't blame Monday. Monday's not magic. It's Monday and the events that we either want to happen, the outcomes that we get on Monday, or the outcomes that we didn't want to get but get anyway on Monday. Those are generated by our actions. They're generated by our actions. And so when we start shifting, I love you brought that up. That is so good. When we start shifting where we put the blame, right? We start taking ownership that how are my choices contributing to this bad Monday? We can then make it better. Carol says this: there are reasons for everything. It may have been meant to be. Carol, you are on already on point number 3, which is absolutely true. And this is point number 3. Things do not happen to me, they happen for me. Things do not happen to me, they happen for me. And even my mistaken choices, even my losing the rental car return, even my, mourning the loss of Chick-fil-A and putting energy into that when I could have been focusing on how can I get to the airport faster. All of those things are part of a bigger plan that I walk out every day of my life. And it is this. Carol, thank you. Things do not happen to me. They happen for me. So even in the midst of the outcome that we didn't expect, we can still be confident. No, it happened for a reason that can work to my good. But if we are focusing on what could have, should have been, we'll miss it because we will not find that beauty. All right, Corey says this. I love that you take learnings from your recent experiences and share the learnings with us. I'm glad you love that because I love doing it. And I learn a lot. I learn a lot by talking to you guys. I appreciate so much this opportunity to almost think out loud with some of the things that I walk through. And it's helping me to grow faster because I have to reflect more. So I'm glad you love it. Thank you, Corey. Laura says this, core value things happen for us, not to us. Last week, exactly right. We just talked about that, one of my core values. So even when things seem to be going wrong, if one of your core values is that things happen for you, not to you, you can take that step back. So this is the ending of my long Murphy's Law saga of missing the plane and missing the flight, not being home. Like my aunt said, she took a look around and said, there are worse places to be. Because as I was mourning the fact that I was not going to be getting on that plane to go home, I was standing in the midst of a 70-degree sunny day in downtown New Orleans with hundreds, thousands of sights that I haven't seen, spending time with somebody that I care about, having an opportunity to have a roof over my head. I got to take an Uber from the airport, so we didn't have to worry about parking. There's a lot of good that I'm sitting right in the middle of, even though it was the unexpected outcome. But if I were still mourning the loss of what could have been, if only I had XYZ, I would have never have found it. And I would be in the middle of what looks like a beautiful paradise day in a new town that I can explore. And I would have been squandering it because I was blaming it on, it's a bad day. Nothing good's going to happen on this day. And the downhill spiral continues. Laura said it was a little painful to hear the whole thing, though. We love you, Shannon. Thank you, Laura. Thank you. Thank you for letting me process my agony with you. And Carol, it is a fun place. New Orleans is a fun place. Yeah, I'm looking forward to going home tomorrow. This is the good news. We got a hotel super fast on the internet. It was half off. It's a 4-star hotel. It's great. Corey says more beignets, and I think I might go in search of beignets tonight. I had my first ones a couple of days ago, and I loved them. So I might have to go see if I can find one. I don't know how close I am to Café du Monde, but I might have to check it out. How about you? So I just did my little confession, or maybe it's a big one. It certainly was lengthy. My trail of tears. How about you? What are you in the midst of blaming on, oh, just nothing ever goes right for me, that you could make a shift and say, okay, hold on. What are some of the things I did that created this outcome so that I can now start owning my actions and start creating the outcome that I want? Sometimes our actions, we're doing things without thinking. We don't realize it. And then we get this result and we're thinking to ourselves, where did this come from? Well, it came from X, Y, and Z. But we won't know that if we don't reflect on it. We won't know unless we reflect. So I'm just inviting you to reflect. Reflect tonight. Reflect on where are you maybe blaming Monday, Kelly, or Murphy's Law, or blaming a bad airport system, when in reality, if those things might be true, that could, those things exist, right? Those hurdles, those challenges, those things, they're there. But what would happen if you started saying, all right, what's my role in this, and how can I do things differently so that I'm going to not be getting this kind of outcome in the future? And then giving ourselves that permission, the permission to say, you know what? I'm human. I make mistakes, but thank God, literally, thank God, things do not happen to me. They happen for me. And this will all work together towards something that's going to make me better, that's going to allow me to meet somebody I hadn't met, allow me to learn something I didn't know. It's the principle, respect the now. I'm here and I'm going to hashtag find the beauty. Oh, yeah, Corey says we're living some similar stories. We've all got them because it's the walk of humanity. It's the walk of humanity. The key is to make sure that we don't get stuck in blaming Monday or Murphy's Law or bad people or bad ideas, and start owning what can we do to create the outcomes that we want to see in our life. Oh, Linda, I'm glad you found that to be beautiful. Corey, yeah, I did. It allowed me to share with everybody, and we all got to learn from it, which is powerful. It's the best kind of learning when we can learn with others. And Kelly says, I have my morning routine down to no time for error, getting to work on time. God forbid the guy in front of me is driving too slow. Well, maybe I should leave earlier. It's so simple. What happens to your frustration level, Kelly, when you do that? Right? What happens to the frustration that primes your morning to go poorly when you leave yourself plenty of time? Everything's different, but nothing's different. There still might be a guy in front of you slow, but because you've made a choice that's going to lead to a better outcome, you don't feel the same kind of pain and pressure. It's a beautiful thing. It's so awesome. All right. Thank you guys for sharing. It's been a pleasure. It was kind of weird coming to you on Central Time because my clock said it was 6 p.m. and I'm thinking, wait a second, it feels right. No, it is right. I'm just in a different time zone. I'm just delighted that no matter what time zone I'm in, I still, and this is one of those things I count as a blessing, I'm still able to come to you wherever I'm at because of the tools and technology that's out there. There's a lot of good in the midst of all the challenges, and I encourage you to look for those too. All right, you guys, take care. Have a wonderful week. Just be on the lookout for that blame game where you're putting all the power on Murphy and he doesn't even exist. Blaming all the people around you when actually if you made just one little tweak, everything would go so much smoother and none of it would be a hassle at all. Learn from me, learn from my mistakes, and you won't have to experience the pain. What a beautiful thing. With that, take care. I love you and goodbye.